Hello, hello. All right, perfect. Cool. All right, let me. How do I mute this? Hello, this is Corey Lawrence. I'm one of the technical sales engineers for Amicus Attorney, and today we're going to be talking in regard to maximizing your billing efficiency in Amicus Attorney. First, what I'd like to do is provide you guys with an overview of what the product can certainly offer you. Essentially, Amicus Attorney is a legal practice management software with cloud mobility and a desktop product. It's designed for the legal profession who want to save time and, of course, maximize billing opportunities. In essence, you'll be more efficient, freedom to work from anywhere, and not only is it built for lawyers, but it's built by lawyers with a deep industry knowledge. You'll see, as I go throughout this demonstration, some of the functionalities in which you can incorporate with your everyday workflow. For instance, legal calendaring, court date calendaring when it comes to rule-based calendaring, the ability to link events to corresponding name and matter records, as well as the organization of client matters. Setting up task and deadlines to help organize and get things done in a timely fashion. Especially document management. Document management as well as document automation provide you fast and accurate and efficient and more accurate automation when it comes to creating from templates or essentially capturing that information from a name or matter record. You also see encompassed is the ability to enter time entry assistant, being able to accurately capture that time, whether it's billable or non-billable, which will also include time and fees, as well as you'll see when we get to the billing aspect, we incorporate a full gap billing program that's going to allow you to populate invoices on a frequency in which that you can determine, as well as we offer collections and payments with our Amicus Attorney and APX integration. But what I'd like to do now is certainly get into the product and show you how you can customize it for your everyday workflow and incorporate it with other software. So here on the screen is what we call the Amicus Attorney dashboard. As you can see, it is populated with calendar events, also populated with some phone call messages to return, some unposted time entries, as well as some deadlines and some recent activity. This is giving you an overall aspect from a daily perspective on what your agenda is and what needs to be accomplished in that day. Where I'd like to move to is to the file management, which what you'll see here are all the cases / matters that are represented inside the system. As you can see, it provides an organizational structure, listing the file name, listing the particular practice area, as well as a client ID and matter ID in which you can certainly manually manipulate to correspond with any in-house filing structure to provide you that uniformity. You'll see here on the far right as well, as it's going to capture the appropriate operator as well as the primary client. All this information can certainly be filtered out by billable, by case code, so the type of case, as well as by the responsible attorney. What you'll see throughout the system is it's security-based on profile, so dependent on the user's role in the office, you can certainly delegate these profiles out to eliminate individuals from add or editing information throughout the system. Now, let's say from an automation standpoint, you want to add information into the system. You'll see here, we make it very simple in nature, in which you can click on New File, which will give you the ability to generate a new case file. As you can see here, there's a short name to help you differentiate between cases that maybe have the same name. It gives you the ability at hand to link the primary client to the case, or if they are not involved in your names database, you also have the ability to add them in real time to the names database while linking them to the corresponding name or matter record. Most importantly, it's also going to capture the billing type. So whether it's a civil litigation case or you can see we have several different practice areas in which we incorporate in the system. You certainly have the ability to edit your own practice areas. It's also going to be capturing the how you plan on to bill for this particular client. As you will see in our billing module, we support all billing modes, fixed fee, flat fee, minimum fee, as well as contingency type billing. And then as well as you'll have the ability to choose at what rate you'll bill the client. Each timekeeper in the system can have several different timekeeper rates. As you can see here, discounted rates, a normal rate, or premium rate. And this allows you, of course, to charge a different rate from a client that walks in the door versus friends and family. Now, most common individuals want to customize this to your practice area. You want to capture more information in the forefront, essentially automating the process, allowing you to capture more information in the forefront and have that information disseminate over to the corresponding name or matter record. What we have for you is a intake form management wizard that can essentially walk you through this process. You'll see here I've brought up the new file intake management. And what it's going to allow me to do is customize that previous intake form in which I was displaying. If I click Edit on this default intake form, it is going to populate that intake form with the corresponding fields in which I can certainly add to this intake form. For ease of use, you'll see it's just a matter of dragging and dropping these fields into the intake form, and then of course moving forward, you would have the ability to capture this information during the intake process and having this information disseminate to the corresponding databases. So once again, the names, events, or even calendar names, events, or matters database. We like to say Amicus Attorney is a full automated solution. And where you begin the automation is once again during the intake process. So if I click View Actionable Items up here, you'll see that we can really automate the intake process, in which we can also associate a conflict of interest check with the intake form. So upon submitting the intake form, the system will automatically do a conflict of interest check for you. We can also apply precedents. Precedents are essentially court-based rules. I'll certainly go into more detailed a little later on in that regard. But court-based rules, for anybody is not familiar, essentially allows you to create an initial event. So let's say a trial, for instance, and then the system, dependent on the other dependent events that are associated with that initial event, so the trial per se, it will schedule all those deadlines, tasks, reminders leading up to that trial to ensure that you meet all the proper requirements before you go to trial. You will see here, you also have the ability to generate documents through our document automation. We allowing you to upload your own templates and customize your own templates, as well as send emails out directly through the system through our integration with Microsoft Outlook. What we're going to do now is we're going to toggle back over to the case management side. So for demonstration, I will go into this Cooperman and Cooperman family law case. If I go into this case here, and if all the information was filled out through the intake form process, you will see that it's going to populate all the corresponding information into this record here. Most importantly, it's going to capture all the information regarding the parties involved. So you'll see here, via the intake form, it automatically linked Jim Cooperman. It also automatically linked Bill Parker, Jane Wu, and Tayana Cooperman to the case via their description. In this instance, lawyer, other, and opposing and party. You have the ability at any point to change their role or classification in the case. So if that does change throughout the case lifetime, you'll certainly have the ability to change that, as well as you have the ability to add or remove individuals that are not replicable to the case. You can see here, if I click Add, it will open up the names database, once again giving me the ability to add individuals, as well as I can, of course, come over here and click Remove, and it will remove the individual from the corresponding case like it did with that party. You can see, of course, the name card here, in which it will capture all the information regarding the person. This is really a faster way to get to some of the functionalities in which I'll be incorporating throughout this training demonstration. You'll see here, you have the ability to generate a quick letter, essentially by clicking on this icon. It's going to, using Microsoft Word, it's going to populate the information from this case into this Word file via the template that you previously set up. once again, automating that process for you with essentially a one-click step. So if we're going to let Microsoft Word open up here, and you'll see that when it comes to document automation, we have several different types in which we can incorporate. As you can see here, we work with Microsoft Word. We also work with WordPerfect, as well as we can incorporate Hot Docs, which is another proprietary product that we offer, which is strictly for document management. You'll see here that it has opened up that corresponding document. An additional feature we have incorporated into the Microsoft Office is, you can see here, we have an Amicus, what we call toolbar, that allows you to create these documents, in this instance, this letterhead, and link them to the corresponding document section, or link them to the library, in which I'll go over, associated with your Amicus database. Via that template, it has automatically populated all the corresponding information from that template into the form, allowing you to do your due diligence and continue to populate and fill out the form or letter in this instance, and have this information saved directly to Amicus Attorney. You also have the ability to, for the purpose of time tracking, start a timer. So in essence, if I wanted to create a phone call, I could click the phone call button here. In essence, you're going to see it's going to bring up the phone call detail screen. The phone call detail screen is going to capture everything pertaining to the case. You can see here, it's going to capture the party involved, the corresponding user. So I'm logged in currently under the operator Heather Gavel. And you can see it's automatically going to associate the corresponding case. Most importantly, for time tracking purposes, it's going to start a timer, allowing you to track your time essentially for every task. You're going to see that there's a timer for all functionalities, and as well as on the bottom here, we have the ability to do a time entry. So if I put in shorthand here, spoke with client, I'm going to do a time entry for this task. So I want to essentially track my time for speaking with this client. What you'll see here is that it's going to, once again, automatically populate all the information for you. So creating this time ticket, but allowing you to essentially validate this time ticket. So you can see the client matter it's associating it to, the client name. You can see the billing category in which you can certainly incorporate. All this information will be automated for you, allowing you to essentially validate that this is the correct time, and then in essence, clicking save or clicking OK or clicking post, and it will essentially send this information over to the corresponding billing side, in which you can do your normal pre-bill and post-bill process when sending out those invoices. What I would also like to go over are the fields here. You can see this is a rolling summary field that allows you to enter details as the case goes forward in regard to what the status is. We also provide a status report field. You can see here in this instance, awaiting social workers report. If we go to the next field, related files, you can see here you can associate files or cases to other cases. So in essence, if this Cooperman and Cooperman family law case is dependent on the outcome of another case, you would have the ability to directly associate that other case to it by clicking Add, and then choosing the appropriate case, toggling it over here, and then clicking OK. And then going forward, when they open up the Cooperman and Cooperman case, they would see that it is associated to this related file. Most important, in essence, is the events, giving you the ability to link any type of an event to a name or matter record. So in this instance, you have the ability, or you'll see on the screen here, we have 4 linked events that are color coordinated as well. So once again, giving you that organizational structure. You have the ability to link to-dos, reminders, tasks. You can see here to-dos are labeled as to-dos. There's several different ways we can do it. The most common is in this particular field here, we can right-click and we can do New. You can see here that it's going to bring up the event detail screen, in which it will capture the standard event information. So you can see here the name of the event. In this instance, it's an appointment, the time, duration. But where we take it one step further is we allow you to associate it to the corresponding file or case record, the corresponding individual or the operator, in this instance, myself, Heather Gavel, is going to be linked to this particular event. And you can also link any contacts. So once again, keeping everything in an organizational structure and showing that this person is also associated to this case. What you also have the ability to do is set up reminders. You can see here days, weeks in advance. And these reminders can trigger notifications to certain individuals in the firm, depending on your preference. So you can choose all firm members or you can choose certain individuals. It's really dependent on your preference. And then you can choose how you want them to receive that alert, via email or just a reminder alert, so a Windows prompt that would pop up on screen. Also, change notifications. If this event was changed or rescheduled, it will automatically send a change notification to the appropriate party to allow them to know, for transparency purpose, that this event has been changed. You also have the ability to link notes to this event. So if there are pertinent notes to this event, that's going to be, let's say this is you have to go to court. You can link details to this event so the corresponding person can see that information, as well as, most importantly, you can link documents and emails to these events. So allowing you to essentially link everything all together to the corresponding name and matter record, and in this instance, the event itself, keeping everything in an organizational structure. From an audit perspective, this system does keep a history of all changes to this particular case. In this instance, this particular event. So if this event was scheduled and changed, you would see an audit trail letting you know the time, date, and the operator that changed this particular event. Once again, I certainly want to highlight some options down here. The ability to track your time for this event. You can see you can restrict access to this event based off, once again, security profile. We do have a client portal in which I will get into a little later that allows you to provide that overall transparency to your client and allowing them to see exactly what you want them to see or what you delegate them to see via the permissions in the system, as well as availability. So to avoid any conflicts when scheduling, you can check the availability of everyone's calendar or the individual calendar to ensure that there are no conflicts when scheduling that event. Now, you can see here, we allow you to categorize your events. So in essence, we have all my events listed under here, once again, if they're to do a reminder. We also have the ability to segment out my to-dos, as you can see here, my active to-dos, so anything that's still active. My appointments, so these are events that are strictly appointments, so they have a time and date associated to them. Reminders and tasks do not always necessarily have a time and date associated to them or a location. But where I wanted to show you is the ability to filter between all these options. So you can see here all your events. Now, one thing I brought up earlier was the ability to associate precedence to a name or matter record. So you can see up here, if I highlight, this is the ability to add or use a precedent. Precedents are essentially court-based rules for city, states, and jurisdictions that provide you an initial event, so like I mentioned earlier, a trial, and then it will automatically schedule that trial as well as all the reminders and tasks leading up to that event. So for instance, I'm going to take a look at this, this simple motion, and you can see here if I click edit on this simple motion, this would automatically trigger to-dos on the appropriate individual's calendar at these scheduled interval periods. So following post-scheduling this motion, one day later, it would put a reminder on your calendar to report to client on motion, and then it looks like 7 days before, it would send you a to-do to file motion / records and materials. You, as the individual or as the user, have the ability, of course, to customize this motion and this particular precedent to your particular firm needs, or you also have the ability to create your own precedent from scratch. Now, what we have for you to provide you essentially that baseline are what we call rules, and we sell these for cities, states, and jurisdictions throughout the country. So if you're looking for a particular rule set, let's say in San Diego, where our headquarters is located, we can provide those rules, get them installed and implemented upon using the program, and then you'll have that baseline to go and create your own rule sets to use in the future. And once again, when those rules are updated, we will ensure that you always have the latest and greatest rule sets. So we will push those updates out to you. Now, the whole idea is to, once again, capture everything in one centralized location. Most commonly is time. In an ideal world, people will track their time accordingly while doing that appropriate task. But we understand in some circumstances that sometimes that things go awry, and maybe a paralegal or another individual has to track that time accordingly. You can see here, these are all the time entries I've put in on this case. And recently, you'll see this is the time entry of the phone call communication I put originally when doing this demonstration on this case. So you can see here, we have some unposted time and posted time. And once again, it's going to give you an overall idea in billable time in dollars as well as hours, so you can understand or see exactly where your case stands at that standpoint. If we move down the list and we go to documents, I think this is what separates us apart from our competitors, as we are providing a full document management system, giving you the ability to link any type of digital file to a case. And it's really the ease of use that separates us from, once again, our competitors, giving you the ability to drag and drop documents in here. So if I go to, of course, my filing structure, like you can see here, I'm going to drag and drop this new Word document labeled version 1 into this corresponding name or matter record. As you can see here, it has automatically linked it to that case, labeled right here with my operator code, as well as the name of the document and the date and time. If I click on this document, what it will give me the ability to do is it'll open up the Word document details. So keep in mind, you are not storing the documents directly in Amicus Attorney, but you will continue to store them in a file structure that's uniform to you, and making that link or correlation between where the document's stored and Amicus, which will give me the ability, if I click open here, to open up that document in the necessary Word format. Most common, you'll see here, this is the path in which the document's located, as well as you have the ability to change the location of that document if need be. We have recently included a document revision history, giving you the ability to check in and check out documents. So if you check the document out, your colleague will see that it's checked out, the date and time, and then when you check it back in, you can apply the appropriate version to it. So version 1, version 2, whatever corresponds to your needs. Once again, to go into more detail, you'll see here, you can associate a summary or put a summary in regard to the details of this document. You can create document groups from an organizational perspective. You can once again link these documents to an event, as well as put notations on these documents. So once again, based off security profile or access, users will be able to see or see the status of this document. And once again, you do get a preview of the document. In this particular Word document, it does happen to be blank, but if we highlight here, you can see you have the ability to link any type of digital file. Once again, it can be a Word document, WordPerfect, PDF, as well as it can be a video file or image file. It's all dependent on what file you need to link to correspond with your case. Where I want to jump over to next, and you can see here, we have some document groups already set up: correspondence, pleadings, transcripts. But one common question asked is, how do I see the overall progress of my case? What we have for you is a chronological list, essentially providing you a step-by-step of everything that has happened inside of this particular name and matter record. It's going to show me all the events that have been linked, all the notes that have been linked, as well as it's going to keep the operator code here to allow me to know who's added that information into the particular matter, as well as it's going to track the time accordingly. So I just want to take a minute there and allow all the parties to see the structure of the system. You'll see over here on the far left, everything I was looking at within that Cooperman and Cooperman case was on an individual case basis. So it was everything that was associated directly to that case. What you'll see here on the left panel is everything from a global perspective. So if I once again click on people once again are the names associated or the names inside your names database. What our system will do for you is we'll classify them in a group, or you have the ability to delegate them in a group that allows you to, for the purpose of document automation and mail merge, in case you want to send out mailing cards, to classify them in that group setting. So if you want to see all your clients or if you want to see all your lawyers or adverse parties, you certainly have the ability to do so. On an individual name basis, if I go into this Janet Bailey case, you'll see it's going to look very similar to the matter screen, once again incorporating all the information of that user. But most importantly, you can see here you can add main notes, and then once again you can add all that information when it comes to documents, communications, whether they're to-dos, reminders, or tasks, on an individual case basis or on a matter basis. It's really dependent on how you want to link the information to the corresponding name or matter. I certainly want to highlight our bidirectional sync with Microsoft Outlook. Once again, our bidirectional sync with Microsoft Outlook allows you to link or set up an appointment in Outlook and have that information automatically sync over to Amicus Attorney. We also have the ability to integrate with Gmail. So if you've not moved over to Office 365, we can integrate with Gmail, giving you the ability to sync your information as well. But you'll see here on a calendar basis, you have the ability to choose whose calendar you view. I right now am viewing my calendar as Heather Gavel, but if I needed to view, let's say, Perry Mason or another user in the office, I can certainly choose their name here, and as you can see now, I'm viewing a combination of both of our calendars as well as my calendar and Perry Mason. If I need to add another user that is not listed here, I can click Add More, and then it's going to bring me essentially our names database of users, and I can choose whose calendar I want to view. And from there, we can choose if I want Della Street, we can add her over, click OK, and now we can see Della Street's calendar as well. So once again, providing you that overall transparency, depending on the role in the office, so that they can see everything that's going on. If we scroll down here, you'll see tasks. So these are all the tasks that have been associated in the system. It's an overall basis. So once again, it's telling you the task, and it's going to tell you the file in which these tasks are linked to. Once again, all these options can be filtered out by a responsible attorney or who it's assigned to, or even an interval period, all dependent on your preference. Same thing goes to notes down here. These are all notes that have been linked to appropriate cases. It's going to tell me who's linked those notes, as well as the date and time who've linked those notes, also giving me the ability to add new notes into the system. We scroll down to communications. These are all the communications, whether they're emails, to-dos, phone call messages. These have all been linked to the corresponding name and matter record, as you can see here, listing out the case name, date, and the details of it. With our direct integration with Outlook, we can also bring in emails directly from Microsoft Outlook and have them correspond to the associated name or matter record. The way it works is, it looks, upon setting up the email integration, it will look for, when an inbound email comes in, it will associate that email with the name or matter that has that email associated to it. So you can see here in this instance, this email came in from Microsoft Outlook, pulled it in and associated it to that case we were working on earlier, Jim Cooperman. And you can see here now this email is associated with this corresponding matter. You once again have the ability to do a time entry, and you can actually reply or forward this email directly through Amicus. It will essentially open up your Microsoft Outlook platform and allow you to, it will populate it with a template in which once again you will be sending it directly through Microsoft Outlook. But it will directly bring in those emails once again from Microsoft Exchange and associate them to the corresponding name or matter record that has that email address linked to it. Once again, providing that all-in-one automated solution. If we go down to documents, you'll see here, this is a list of all the documents that have been linked to this to corresponding name or matters. Once again, it tells you the file in which it was linked to. It gives you the operator code in which who linked these documents, as well as, once again, if we click on these documents, it will give us a preview below, allowing us to see exactly the details of that document. Now, one question that comes up is, how would you generate these documents? So earlier, I showed you how to click on one of the actionable items and generate that information from the matter into that letterhead template. But let's say you have another document or another template in which you want to generate. You'll see here it's as easy, and there's several ways to do it. The easiest way is if I come into the matter database and right-click on the particular case, I can generate a document. When I generate a document, we allow you to, once again, upload your own templates into the system from an organizational and uniformity perspective, as well as we have some defaulted in the system for you as well. So let's say I want to generate a letter. I would come over to the letters section here, and you can see how some are associated with Word, some are associated with Hot Docs, some are associated with WordPerfect. Once again, it's all dependent on the format or what other platform you're using to populate your particular documents. We also have email templates in which we can generate. You'll see fax cover letters in which we can generate. And this is something we're going to provide to you out of the box, but we can certainly assist you with customizing these templates with the help of our professional services team that deals with all the customization when it comes to our products. So like earlier, with the actual item, I clicked on the letter and it populated that letter. But let's say I wanted to generate it from here by right-clicking, clicking Generate Document. I can once again come in here, click on the blank letter, and then click OK. In essence, it will populate that document into Word. For demonstration, I'll do a different one. I'll do General Power of Attorney. For this case, I'm going to click OK. And once again, that was a Hot Docs document. Let's do a Word document. And it will use my Microsoft Word, and it will populate that information into this document. And once again, you can see how quick and how efficient that was for you. So this also mitigates any issues or risk when having to generate these documents on a daily or weekly basis. We try to eliminate the user error by having the system generate it for you. If I scroll over, you can see here, I can see that it populated all the necessary information. Jim Cooperman, he's a resident of Detroit, as well as it populated dates, time, and any other individuals involved in this case. So once again, automating that process for you. Now, if I close this document, the final thing I'd like to show from the case management side is our library. So when it comes to litigation, there's several research that needs to be done in regard to doing your due diligence on the case. So in essence, we allow you to do your research and associate it to our Amicus Attorney library. It also allows you to incorporate other tools in which you're using to do your research. So for instance, Westlaw. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a quick page, and you can see here, if I go to launch, you'll have the ability to input URLs, for instance, for a Westlaw that allows you to do your research into here. You can classify it as a paid service so that when you come to your particular library and your particular section, you can click on that path and it will bring you to that article in Westlaw, as well as it will allow you to automatically log in by putting in that it's a paid service, and it'll prompt you for your username and password. So streamlining instead of you having to navigate to several different areas. Now, one thing I've been mentioning throughout the system is our goal is to automate everything from the intake to the invoice. I mentioned earlier that we do have, as you can see here, an Amicus attorney billing module that's going to, in essence, allow you to automate everything when it comes to your billing process. You can see here, now since we've moved to this billing platform, it has changed the user interface. You can see it provided this bright green background to let you know that you are inside the billing section of the module. If I click on Files here, it's going to give me a breakdown of all the files, as well as you'll see it's going to give me a breakdown of their status from a financial standpoint. Any unposted fees, any work in progress fees, expenses, AR, general retainer, trust, as well as this information can be sorted or filtered by any of these fields on the left. So if you just want to see a responsible attorney, you just want to see cases for a particular case type or case code, so family law versus litigation, you certainly have the ability to do so. You can see here, if we choose a case that does not have unposted time, let's say we want to build this North American truck company here. I can right click in essence, and you can see a lot of those options which you saw on the main screen of the billing module I have here. So if I wanted to receive a payment, if I wanted to bill, do an expense entry, I can all be done with one click of the button. In essence, if I want to bill this client, I would right click and do bill, and then it's going to bring up the billing details of this case. What I want to show you is the ability, and you can see here if I take a step back, it auto-populates everything for you in the forefront. So once again, a point of validation. But if I click mass here, you do have the ability to bill in a mass batch format. So everyone's billing cycle tends to be a little different, whether it's daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, sometimes annually. But once again, we do support all those billing modes, flat fee, minimum fee, as well as contingency type billing. But you have the ability to filter out and bill in a batch format for all the cases or just some of the cases inside of your system, all depending on your preference. And you can see here, the system will actually create a draft for you in which will allow you to see from a pre-bill standpoint. And if we print this preview, it will show you exactly how the invoice will be portrayed to the client. Now, once again, from a customization standpoint, we can certainly customize this bill from a branding perspective. I see we have some little overlaps here, and I think this might have to do with screen resolution. But you can see here, in this particular invoice, it auto-populated all the information from that corresponding file in which you were billing for on a task basis. So up top, you'll see it's going to capture the type of case, the name. Once again, we can brand it for you can input your header here for branding purposes. But most importantly, all those tasks in which we're billing by clicking that do time entry button, it's captured the operator, it's captured the description of service, as well as the hours and the amount. It also does a breakdown for time summary in regard to the operator, their rate, the hours allocated, as well as the dollar amount. It will also include any expenses. And then most importantly, the total amount due. Now, if this case does include any trust activity or minimum retainer, that information would also populate on the invoice. In this instance, there is no trust activity or any minimum retainers on the case. You can see it has also provided payment details for what the client has paid you so far for your services. So to keep in mind, we can certainly, if you have a particular format in which you want your invoice to be displayed, we can certainly do that, as well as we can brand it to your firm's needs. Most commonly, one question always asked is, how can we enter those expenses? Same methodology, right click, expense entry, And you can see here it's going to automatically associate with the corresponding name and matter record, as well as it's going to allow you to put any expense codes as necessary, and then of course the quality, quantity of the unit and any descriptions, so that once again, for transparency purposes, this information will be displayed on the invoice for your client. Now, let me close this out for you. From a receiving a payment perspective, if your client wants to send you a payment, there's a couple different ways they can do it. So we've recently rolled out what we call Amicus Payment Exchange. It's an automated service that's going to allow your client to pay you via ACH or credit card. For credit card payments, there is only a 3% flat fee charge, and there's no additional charge for the number of transactions. So incomparable to a LawPay, an XCharge, or a PayPal, you only get charged that 3% flat fee for the credit card transaction. To ensure the compliance of trust accounts, all fees are taken, of course, out of your operating account. So let's say your client did want to pay you. We can go to Payments Received here, and then it's going to bring up just the simple receive payment. So it's going to allow you to allocate how they plan on paying, whether cash, check, or credit card. You can enter the amount, the check number if it is an e-check or a physical check, and of course, this information will reflect accordingly into Amicus accounting. And with APX, that information would be deducted from the client's credit card or ACH account, reflect directly into your operating account, and from there, that information would reflect accordingly inside of Amicus Attorney billing. So once again, providing you an all-in-one solution and really automating and streamlining your process from the intake to invoice perspective. Now, I want to take a moment to see if there are any questions in regard to Amicus Attorney and how we can certainly give you better knowledge on the product itself. So if anybody has any questions, you can certainly type those in. I see I already have a few questions at hand. So a couple of the questions I have received, do you integrate with any other billing software? And the answer to that question is yes. So we have a lot of clients that are using other billing software, a QuickBooks, a TimeSlips, a PC Law. What we give our clients the ability to do, instead of recreating and reinventing the wheel, is they can integrate our billing module into those other components, allowing you to essentially capture all your time entries and all your information in the forefront, and having those time entries and having those case records and files pushed over, let's say, to QuickBooks as jobs or as files, allowing you to continually populate your bills through Amicus Attorney, through QuickBooks. If that's how you have done it in the past, you can continue to do it as so. Another question is, can we use Hot Docs? Can we use Hot Docs? Like I mentioned earlier, Hot Docs is a third-party document automation software that is integrated into Amicus Attorney that will allow you to generate documents or templates you've created in Hot Docs through Amicus Attorney. So encompassing two of our products together, and once again, automating and streamlining your everyday workflow process. We've also received questions in regard to a mobile application. So we do have a mobile application that is available inside the iTunes Store or the Android market that is essentially a more simplistic version of the product itself. It's going to allow you to see all your cases, your case information, the individuals that are linked to that case, essentially providing you easy access to your files, clients, phone calls, time entries, and notes, and lets you capture every billable moment mobily. So in essence, if you are in a meeting or at court, you could track your time while in that meeting in court and have the information synced from the mobile app to your Amicus Attorney inside of your on-premise solution or your APC solution. Does anybody have any other questions at this time? So I was asked another question in regard to Dropbox. A lot of individuals are using Dropbox. A lot of individuals have also been using OneDrive to essentially store their documents in, as well as providing that share file to their clients so that they can see their information. We do allow you to store your information in Dropbox or OneDrive and link that via our DMS system, our document management system, to the corresponding name or matter record. So all that can be incorporated into the system. Now, while we have time, I do want to show one last feature, and that feature is our client portal. So in essence, like you might have seen throughout this demonstration, our users have the ability to share out information via their client portal to their client, essentially providing that overall transparency to their client. So how it works is your client will log in, like I'm doing now, to a secure encrypted website, and they'll be able to see any information you allow them to see via those shared portal icons inside of Amicus Attorney. In essence, this is a more simplistic version of Amicus. You can see here, in my particular case, I have the ability to see the 3 cases that are associated with my profile right here, Jim Cooperman. You can see the 3 cases here, Cooperman and Cooperman, Cooperman versus Zodiac, and Cooperman versus Blake. If I click on Cooperman versus Cooperman, it's going to allow me to go specifically into that case and see any appointments, any tasks, any notes that are associated with this case that have allowed me to view inside the system. If we close this, let me show you. You can also expand it as well for orientation. You can also see any documents. Once again, just like inside the Amicus Attorney system itself, you have the ability to filter out by date. You can see any notes here as well. But more importantly, is you'll see that you can also share out your invoices. So instead of having to email your invoices, to provide you a more secure format to provide your invoice to a client, you can share it via the portal. They have the ability to open the file, view the bill, view the history of any invoices you sent them in the past, as well as using our APX function, they have the ability via the client portal to pay their invoices through the portal, and once again have that information reflect accordingly inside Amicus Attorney billing. So in essence, once again, providing you that all-in-one solution, as well as providing that full transparency to your clients, allowing them to see, in essence, anything you allow them to see inside the Amicus Attorney client portal. Now, I've mentioned throughout this system is that we have the ability to customize as well as import from other practice management softwares. And once again, this will be done by our professional services team. So if you are currently using another case management software, it'd be a matter of us setting up an assessment with you in which we can see exactly what information, or assist you in showing you what information we can bring over from that alternative program. We have certainly done it for several case management programs in which users want to synchronize all that information over or import all that information over from the other corresponding program. And this can be done on the case management side as well as the billing side. Now, one thing I didn't necessarily get touched upon yet were the reports. So out of the box, we give you a plethora of reports in which you can generate through the Amicus Attorney system. You can see here, I have several calendar reports open. in which I can generate, and these can all be filtered by time period. They can be filtered by responsible attorney. You can also see here we have some communication reports in regard to today's phone call messages. Now, all this information is accessible through the corresponding client name or matter record, but from a report standpoint, or if you need to see it all from an overall global aspect, you certainly have the ability to do so with our report generator. You can see also you can run bill reports, time reports, so of course unbilled versus billed, essentially productivity reports. And then of course you can run client portal reports. So all information that has been shared inside the client portal or new client portal changes. If you want to see what clients have changed or added to the client portal, you can certainly run a report on that as well. So the ability to run reports and create your own templates and generate your own documents really allows for ease of use for your everyday workflow. Now, are there any additional questions in regard to Amicus Attorney and how this can be customized for your workflow? Or if you're looking for a particular functionality, I would certainly love to show you it. Well, we certainly have the time left. Okay, so if you have any additional questions, you can certainly go on our website and we can coordinate a time to have a one-on-one demonstration with myself or one of our other technical sales engineers. From there, we will be able to provide you a deeper dive and understand what you're doing from an operational and business perspective, so we can assist you with streamlining and automating your everyday process. And once again, this can be done on our website, abacusnext.com. But for today, I appreciate you for seeing everything we could do in regard to Amicus Attorney, and we hope to hear from you soon. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.